Good morning. I would like to present the main thesis of the article of the impact of companies' financial results on investors' financial decisions during the COVID-19 pandemic in selected companies listed on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. The article was written by Mr. Mariusz Chmielewski, Ms. Ewa Spigarska, and me, Maciej, Leszek, Hyży. We are from Gdańsk University Management Faculty. Firstly, I would like to point out that in this diagram, we can see that in year 2020, there is a significant decrease in the GDP. The purpose of the article is to examine the hypothesis whether during the COVID-19 crisis, the financial parameters of a companies listed on the Warsaw Stock Exchange for which the crisis was an opportunity, all companies in the IT industry listed on Warsaw Stock Exchange had a significant impact on market indicators of these companies. The hypotheses of the article were following. Firstly, there is a significant statistical relation between the net profit and the share price for IT and banking companies listed on the stock exchange. Second, there is no significant statistical relation between the return on asset indicator and the price to the book value for IT and banking companies. And third, there is no significant statistical companies. It is important also to focus to value generators, and we can observe in the diagram that there are 6 of them and propose on the one non-financial generator. Among them, they are sales revenue growth rate, investments in fixed assets, investment in current assets, operating profit margin, cost of capital, and effective financial results and investor reactions. We can observe that investors' decisions to buy or sell securities were largely based on forecasts on future financial results. It has been noted that there is a relationship between the nature of the information disclosed and the share price of the companies concerned. Investors do not take into account the value of return on investment and return on. The research method was the following. The IT industry listed on the Warsaw Stock Exchange were selected as the key object of research of the impact of information regarding financial situation on indicators and stock exchange parameters. The impact of COVID-19 pandemic on companies operating in various industries was diverse. However, the pandemic was in 2029. And based on Pearson's correlation coefficient between IT Warsaw Stock Exchange index and the index Warsaw Stock Exchange for individual industries was used to determine the industry, which investors treated differently in relation to the IT industry. And correlation coefficient is the least industry. And the financial and the stock market indicators of companies listed in the Warsaw Stock Exchange operating in the IT industry, we have 27, and the banking industry, we have 12. During the first stage of the research, in order to determine the possible impact of financial result on stock market result, it was verified whether there was a correlation between the following pairs of data described, and the result were following. In the case of IT, we observe that correlation range above 0.5 and index range from 0 to 0.076, there was number of companies 8. The correlation between 0 indicators and the price to the book value, we observed in 9 companies, 0.5. The opposite in the banks, we observe that there are smaller number of companies which correlation between net profit and share price was significantly important. So correlation range above 0.5 equals 5. In the analysis of correlation between the return on asset indicator and the price to the net book value, we observe in the number of companies. So, in the diagram, we see that statistical significant important correlation is in net profit in the IT and compared to the bank, and is much more important in IT sector than in banks in the return on assets to price book value. It's nearly the same, so difference is very small in return on equity to price book value. The result of analysis carried out, that the result presented in the previous section show that in the case of the most of the analysis entities, there is no statistically significant relation between financial results and stock market results. This applies to both parameters and indicators. Such a relation occurred only in about 20% of the analysis entities, both in the IT and decision. So, our article shows that during the crisis, has financial data become a statistically significant element influencing the decision made by investors on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. Unfortunately, our research tells that there is no significant element of correlation.